Welcome back, everyone. Again, we're with Tommy Gregory, who is running for sheriff. You know what you're doing here?
I sure do.
Of course you do. Now, you're currently now working where?
At the Kingsland Police Department. I'd actually recently been put over their accreditation program and their budget and finance, and I am their chief financial officer now.
Oh, well, that's good. So you know a little bit about finance. Now, I'm going to hit you with something pretty heavy right here, right off the bat. And I'm going to ask you, are you in any way responsible? Now, there's a lot of press out there, bad press out there right now for the sheriff. Are you in any way responsible for any of the bad press that he's getting at this time?
Absolutely not. The only way for me to win this campaign in this election is basically stay positive, run a clean campaign, and focus on the issues. So
okay, I'm going to go into some of the questions we have from the audience here, and the first one pertains to vehicles that are driven home by the department. What about the drive home policy?
Currently, they have 88 vehicles on record the last time the numbers were put
88 vehicles?
88 vehicles.
Do you think that's too many? Or?
That's a third of that could be cut out easily. Anybody that could not or would not respond to an emergency 2 or 3 in the morning or at a spare of the moment call out, like road deputies, shouldn't be taking a car home. And I think it's been abused recently, and those cars need to be parked. And
how would you control that? I mean, you would...
As sheriff, I basically, if it's not a law enforcement necessity for you to have that car, you park those cars. If they stay parked a couple of months, we don't need them, and they'll be surplused and sold or turned back over to the Board of Commissioners. More vehicles and cars we have on the payrolls, the more it costs taxpayers money. And
there has been some accusations of personal use, and you'd monitor that a little more closely?
Correct. If it wasn't for law enforcement, you drive it home from when you got off shift to home and park it in your driveway, and you would not get back in that car until you were called out or you were scheduled to come back out.
Very good. Okay, with all the recent growth, do you feel that our Sheriff's Department, this is another question from the audience, do you feel our Sheriff's Department is capable of dealing with it, all the growth that we have now?
They're close to it. They have the numbers. If it's managed right, yes, they can keep up with it. Unfortunately, as the county grows, the staff will grow, which is probably 70 to 80% of their budget. So currently they have the right numbers. They just need to rearrange some of the staff. There are some people there that could be let go who doesn't really provide a function for that department. So my first priority is to identify the folks that are not working and get rid of those positions.
Now, you mentioned something about finances a while ago. You're working with as a finance person with Kingsland. How would you control finances more closely at the Sheriff's Department? Another question from the audience.
I have over 10 years of handling finances at the Sheriff's Office. As sheriff, you would not be the daily handler of that, but with the knowledge I have, and I've prepared line item justified detailed budgets for over 10 years. I've worked hand in hand with the county's chief financial officer, so I do know what I'm looking for as far as abuse and waste, and I would work very hard. I did such a good job that the Board of Commissioners placed me on the countywide budget review board, so I do have that eye to know where waste is and identify it. So I think I bring the qualifications to the table to know where the waste is and have the ability to cut it out.
Do you think there's a lot of waste there now?
There's a lot.
A lot, okay. Another question, how do you feel about the active Marine Patrol?
Currently they had 6 boats. They recently purchased the new boat, the Contender. I'm not sure of the specs, but $130,000 plus the cost of the tow vehicle. On the heels of being $1.2 million over budget, with as many boats as they already have, with DNR, the Navy,
Coast Guard.
There's 2 Coast Guard units. We just got a second one here. It's a little overkill. I'm not saying that we're not a target for a terrorist attack, but the Marines and people on this base and the camaraderie and the partnerships we have, that base is very well protected. Honestly, I think that the purchase of the new boat was a bad judgment.
Another question, how do you feel like we're doing with the war with drugs?
We're not winning. Evidently we'd be out of a job. Unfortunately, it comes down to dollars. The more money you have, the more officers you can combat it. That's one of the high areas I will target is crime, because drugs and having a background in narcotics, drugs fuel a lot of other crimes. As a user, they go out and commit burglaries, robberies, a lot of petty crimes, breaking and entering vehicles, car theft, are all done to fuel that drug habit.
Personal assaults too.
Yes. So that would be one of my main objectives, is combat the crime here as far as drugs and all type of crime here in Camden County.
What do you think about the drug court program, and tell us a little bit about that?
The drug court program is a good program. Honestly, it's handled by the court system. The little bit of exposure and experience I've had with it, it shows that their stats are way down for repeat offenders, and that was the goal of the drug court program. They get accepted by the judge to come into this program, and they have a series of strenuous hoops they have to jump through. They have money they have to pay to get into the program, so some of that program is funded by the participant themselves. They have weekly counseling sessions. They have mandatory they have to go to. They have mandatory court appearances they have to come to. It's a 12-step program, but it's been proven to work, and by any means it's not an easy task. And by the time these people complete this, they have a chance to get the charge off their record. Now, I don't totally agree with that, but these people have really showed that they wanted to do this. Now, if they, at any part in the time, does not make one of the hurdles, they are immediately sent back to prison and to carry out the rest of their sentence. But as far as repeat offenders, breaking that cycle is what the whole program's geared at. And the stats in the 5-6 year existence shows that there's far less repeat offenders than the ones that just go off to prison and don't participate in the program.
So you think it's pretty successful then?
So far, so good.
Okay. Another question. In your opinion, is the Sheriff's Department currently overstaffed with non-essential employees? We touched on that a little bit, and I guess probably you would need to get in there a little closer and take a look at that. But right off the cuff,
I've been gone since 2005, but when I was there was probably 10 to 15% that was there just drawing a paycheck. I have no problem with people that earn the money they're given. Come to work, do a good job, go home. It's the ones that come, draw that paycheck, and don't produce anything. As a good supervisor and as a good chief executive officer, as a sheriff is, he should have the ability to either delegate or himself identify these problems and either motivate these people to produce or do the paperwork and the discipline. And I'm not saying fire anybody right off the bat. I believe in progressive discipline. Go to that employee and say, hey, there's a new sheriff here. Here's what's expected of you, and then either do it or don't do it. If they choose that path, by the time they're fired, they've been talked to 4 or 5 times, and it's time to move on.
Now, we have another question here about the trustee program. You would make certain changes in that program, wouldn't you?
Yes, and we've touched on a few of them. Don't get me wrong, the trustee program, if managed and reformed and some policies implemented, is a good program. It saves the taxpayers of Camden County money. I'm not for these people going to any private property and doing work. I mean, cleaning up the side of the highways, cutting grass on public property, keep them off private property.
It actually saves us a lot of money.
It saves them. The last figures showed they save about $1 million. Well, if you could get all those people and do 100% of their time on government land or public property, it would save probably $1.5 million. So
we've got about 1 minute left, and I want you to kind of summarize exactly what it is you want to say to the people that you're running.
I have 24 years of experience. I've worked in our community here as a law enforcement officer for over 20 years. These are not theories or things I've just made up. I've worked in this sheriff's office for over 20 years. I've done everything I've said I can do. It's been proven. I've had leadership ability. I was 3rd in command at the sheriff's office. So I know I can make a change, and there's need for improvement, and I bring the qualifications to the table to make those improvements.
And you love this county, don't you?
Oh, I love this county. The people make it great. I've worked with these people. No matter what it is, we have a diverse group of people. They all come together when we need them, and the people that make it great.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being with us here today. Thank you for joining us on Friendly Fire, and you've done a good job. I appreciate it.
Thank you.